I wonder why is taking a picture of those two tombs. But let me tell you that in Mount Herzl, which is totally at the other side of Jerusalem, we are at Mount of Olives now. We can see the Dome of the Rock. Only one prime minister is buried, and that is Menachem Begin and his wife. Can you tell us what's happening here? Why Menachem Begin is not buried at Mount of Olives, at Mount Herzl?
Okay, first of all, you have to understand those two graves.
All right, but yeah, short.
Okay.
Yeah.
The graves of Meir Feinstein and Moshe Barazani.
And from there,
yeah, they were from the Jewish undergrounds, two Jewish undergrounds during the British Mandate. Feinstein was a member of the Etzel, and Menachem Begin was the commander of the Etzel.
Menachem Begin, yeah.
And Moshe Barazani was a member of the Lehi. Okay?
Which is
even more far right from the Etzel.
A little bit more radical for the Etzel, yeah,
Okay.
you can say it.
Anyway, I don't remember the exact year because I didn't plan to guide
Doesn't
you.
matter. It doesn't matter. But they actually wanted to commit suicide at where?
They were sentenced to death
By the British.
By the British. They weren't, by the way, caught together. I mean, each one was caught for another reason. And as a member of the Jewish underground resistance movement, they were.
Can you hold it, please?
Yeah. Okay. They were sentenced to death. And they wanted to take with them as many British officers as. And the thing was, at that time, usually Jewish warrior or terrorist. I'm not going to go into this argument. Yeah, But the thing is that at that time, usually they were executed at Acre. Yeah, usually they were executed at Acre because Acre at that time was an Arab town. And the British decided to execute them here in Jerusalem. It was kind of a statement, okay? Yeah. They knew the Jewish community of Jerusalem won't take it peacefully, but it was kind of, the Jewish are...
let's make it shorter.
Okay.
Because, they can talk a lot
about it.
Yeah. Then they committed suicide. They didn't
Just a minute.
Anyone
else. Okay.
So
they managed to smuggle a grenade to the prison, and their original plan was to blow it up just prior to the hanging, and not only commit suicide, but take with them as many British officers as they could. The problem was that the rabbi that escorted them decided. He decided. The switch rabbis. It's a long story, but to make a long story short, the rabbi that actually was talking to them prior to the hanging decided to change his plan and be at the hanging room next to the gallows, and they didn't want to hurt him. So they decided to change the plan, and they simply committed suicide a few minutes before the hanging in their cell without taking the life of anybody else because they didn't want to.
And then is this the reason that why Menachem Begin?
Yeah, and Menachem Begin really admired them, and in his lifetime he asked to be buried just next to them, and this is exactly what we see here. Here, what's the name of it? Here are the graves of Meir Feinstein and Moshe Barazani. Okay, Meir Feinstein from the Etzel, Moshe Barazani from the Lehi, who blew themselves without hurting the rabbi. And just next to them, it's
Aliza Begin. Aliza Begin and Menachem Begin, our prime minister. This is something special. Then that's why Menachem Begin was buried at Mount of Olives and not like any other prime minister at Mount Herzl. Amazing. Thank you very much for the information. Bye bye.